another episode of Voices of Inclusive Research podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ren, founder of Diverse Research Now. And today, you will hear the voice of Dr. Jazmine Crain. She is a rising trailblazer in clinical research and dedicated community advocate. As the visionary founder of Covalent Clinical Research in Central Mississippi, she expertly blends her scientific expertise as a bioorganic analytical chemist with a deep commitment to improving healthcare access for all Mississippians. I am super excited to speak with Dr. Crain today. So let's get started. How are you doing today, Dr. Crain?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you here because
Thank you.
we know who's in Mississippi. Our people is in Mississippi. And I love that. And so tell us about you, what you do, why you do it, why you're in Mississippi.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me, Dr. Jones. It is so great to be on this wonderful podcast. And I just cannot be more excited to be sharing with you today. So yes, my name is Dr. Jazmine Crain. I am the founder of Covalent Clinical Research here in Central Mississippi. I got my start in clinical research industry as a senior clinical research coordinator at Ochsner in Louisiana. And there I worked on maternal health studies. I worked on infectious disease studies. I worked with different populations. And I just really found my passion for clinical research. I got my training as a chemist at the University of Cincinnati, where I trained as a bioorganic analytical chemist, where I was looking at the modification of proteins as they relate to the onset of Alzheimer's disease. So I've had a little bit of experience working in human subject research, but actually getting into the clinical research space was actually my passion to really see how my work can affect others and how the work that I do is improving the healthcare for certain communities. And so coming back to Mississippi, I wanted to give back to the community in which I grew up in and give back to the state in which raised me. And so once I was doing all the work in clinical research in, Louisiana, I automatically thought, like, why Mississippi don't have the infrastructure for clinical research? And I want to be the one to build that infrastructure and to improve the participation of Mississippi in clinical trials.
Wow. Okay, so you came back. So
yes.
You're returning to do the work.
Yes.
I love that. I feel the same way about Chicago, even though there's a lot going on in Chicago already. You have a different reason for returning because you returned because you actually did not see sites or your work, the work that you're passionate about being shared or even being known in your community. So that was a big reason for you to come back and share that. Okay.
Just to add to that, just a little bit of personal information about me. I lost my mom to lupus and kidney disease. And I was wondering what other treatments were out there, what other options, we had when facing her disease and the fatality of that disease. And now seeing all of the studies with lupus that are available now just kind of gives me that wow factor, like, wow, there are other options and other treatment out there for individuals. And there are many people that don't know about it. And so I want to bring that information out there. I want to set that information forward for communities who really need it.
And was your mom in Mississippi?
Yes. She was a head nurse at our local hospital in which she worked.
Wow. Okay. Now let's talk about this specific part of Mississippi that you're talking about. Talking about, it's called the Delta.
Yes.
Right? And that covers, tell me kind of what that covers.
So the Delta covers about 50% of Mississippi. It is very rural. Well, let me take that back. The Delta covers about 18 counties of Mississippi.
Okay.
Mississippi is made of 82 counties. Okay. And of those 18 counties is the Delta of Mississippi. Those 18 counties are very well known for the lack of hospitals, the lack of health access, the lack of health infrastructure in those communities. Those communities are also very high for maternal morbidity as well as infant morbidity when it comes to maternal health. Those communities are very behind when it comes to access for just healthy living for individuals. And so when I was looking at those particular areas to, expand my research company, I did not see any sites that were out there really providing the work. There are some universities and there are other local institutions that are trying to bring trials to those that are needed in those communities, but it's not very prevalent and not many know about it.
Yeah. And they're still far away, right? Because we were
Very, very far away.
about
Yes,
like the closest things or the closest locations are like Jacksonville, which is still quite a bit away
yes,
from
yes. So
some of the cities in the Delta.
yes. So Mississippi has three main metropolitan areas. That's Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital, Gulfport, Mississippi, which is towards the coast, and then up in the Hattiesburg area as well. And so those areas are very populated with clinics and healthcare systems that can, give to their population or provide care to their populations. But as you get in towards the Delta of Mississippi, there's not a lot of clinics out there. There are some counties within the Delta that do not have any hospitals. There are actually 7 counties within Mississippi that does not have any clinics or hospitals. And so that's very, very tragic. And for those who are seeking help, they will have to travel, like I said, to these metropolitan areas that can be either 75 miles plus just to get there. So if they're in an emergency or if they need some dire care, they really have to travel very far to get to some of these metropolitan areas that can provide them the care that they need.
I can't even believe that is the case in
Yes,
2025, that there's no hospitals. And I know that, yes, I mean, this is a big topic, I guess, in clinical research, like the rural areas where
yes.
not much there.
Hmm.
People have to travel, but we really have to figure out an answer, the
Right,
solution to help, because we can't forget about them. I feel like this area of Mississippi has been forgotten
right,
almost. Like,
right,
does it feel like that? Because you're there.
right.
Is that the feeling that you have?
Now, I'm located more in central Mississippi, but I have traveled to the Delta. I have family in the Delta, and just going out to visit family and just going out to the Delta for certain events that I do attend, it does feel like there has been no progress there in over however many years the Delta has been there. So it's just whenever I go down there, I really seem like I go back in time. There's a lot of plains, so the Delta is made up a lot of plains
Yeah.
due to the river coming through. But outside those plains, there's not a lot of infrastructure. But there's a lot of diverse populations that still live out there that, still live in those areas. But those areas are not being developed along with the population that is out there.
And that's exactly what I was headed to, is
Hmm.
what percentage of Black and Brown people are there? What percentage would you say?
I will say it's a large percentage that is out there. Mississippi, out of the 82 Mississippi counties, there is 65 that is rural. So that's like over 53% of Mississippi live in those rural areas. So just thinking about the Delta alone may have majority of those 53% of in Mississippi living out there, but they're not able to get to the care that some of the Mississippians that live in, central, north, or south Mississippi gets.
Yeah. It's
Hmm.
like, to me, that we're missing a whole group of people there.
Yes.
The problem that we're having in research is the lack of diversity, which is, of course,
Hmm.
diverse research now was created.
Hmm.
And so my solution, one of our solutions, is to actually go to the areas, like
Hmm.
physically go to the areas where there are black and brown people live,
Yes.
where they
Yes.
are, and share this information. However, I'm thinking we come out there, we share the information because we're going to do something soon. Like we want to definitely have an
Yes. Yes.
very soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we come out there, we give the information, and then where do we send them? That's the next piece.
Yes.
Where are we sending them to get the research done or for them to get involved in the research?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want, right? We want them to
Exactly.
get involved in the research, get involved in the solutions, because we know that most of us, Black and brown people, we're the ones who's taking all these medications that
Mm-hmm.
are being developed. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, like our community, yeah, we're the ones who have all the ailments and the issues where medications are needed. So we have to, of course, I constantly say this, like we have to get them involved. It
Yes.
sounds like that would be a good place to go. So I definitely want to see your site succeed in this and
Yes.
really getting our Black and brown communities involved in research. What are some of the strategies you plan to take on as you start to recruit for your studies?
Yes. So recently, this past week, I just attended a Mississippi Healthy Conference put on by the Mississippi State Department of Health.
Mm.
And I connected with so many organizations, individuals who were all really in that Mississippi Delta area.
Hey.
And there were so many questions about how can we get this research started or this clinical study started. And making those connections really, really motivated me to go out there and start my clinical research initiative and the mission to improve Mississippi participation in clinical trials. And so I plan on adding to that, still continue going out to these events, these community events as well. I want to go to the churches. I want to go to the town halls. I want to really hear from the people and see what their pain points are. I do have some other community events lined up that I will be attending as well. Just sharing the education about clinical research, the benefits of clinical research, and how would you want clinical research to solve an issue for you? Because I know there are a lot of trials out there that we can really specialize to the population or the community. And I really want to hear what it is that they feel that they not getting enough care for or enough care in. And so I want to go out there. I want to do the work. I want to put the boots on the ground in order to bring the community the health and the treatment methods that they are needing and that they require.
Yeah, no, I am super interested. You are the first voice of a Mississippian on Voices of Inclusive Research.
Nice.
So, but not
Nice.
because I am very interested in bringing their voice to my audience,
Yes.
including like pharma, the community. People need to hear their voice
Yes.
in Mississippi and the Delta, and so we can understand what they need, and so we
Yes.
start to try to address their needs.
Exactly. Because just attending these events, like I'm getting a lot of people engaging with me over clinical research. Once I first got into this, I was really scared
Mhm.
that, I was going to get a lot of backlash or just a lot of scrutiny towards the research and the myth of research, especially in the diverse population in which I'm living now. But you would be amazed at the questions that people have and the knowledge that they want to know. And that just continues to motivate me to go out and do the work that I do, because the work that I do is going to help someone. I know that if I can only help one person, I've done the work that I wanted to do. And there are people out there now, after speaking and connecting with others, that I know that are willing the treatment, the care that we could bring in clinical research.
Oh my goodness. We already had a conversation before this
Yes.
podcast, but we know that we speak the same language right now.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
both very passionate
Yes.
about this, getting this information out to our community. And you are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. The same thing Diverse Research now is continues to say is people are hungry for this information. They
Yes.
want the information. So you wonder it is a wonder like why we've had such a problem with recruiting diverse populations.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. We know that that's been a problem, fine. But
Yes.
we are solution based and we want to bring solutions to this problem. We don't want to dwell on the problem, but we want
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
come up with solutions.
Right.
Solutions that seem to work for us is to go to the people. Go to the people, share the information.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
are hungry for it
Yes. Yes.
and they will sign up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really. Now, everyone's not going to like, you're not going to get everyone to sign up, and that's fine.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because you never know. Everyone's different, everyone has
Right.
a story. So, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
However, they still should learn about it. I always say to people, like, even if you're not ready to get involved in the research, it's still really good knowledge to have. A little while ago, I was talking to someone who was from another community, a white person, and they said that one of the things in their community, when they get diagnosed with a new condition, like clinical trials is something that they actually think about in that community. That's like one
Wow.
of the first things that they would think about. Now, I'm not saying that in the whole community,
Yeah.
but I feel like, as we know, most clinical trials have been done amongst white men.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are aware of it, right? Because they have been in these trials. Well, in our community, when we're diagnosed with something, that's not the first thing that we think about. We don't,
Exactly.
like, honestly, it's usually like the last thing. From my experience, recently, I've had a few people who have been dealing with disease,
Mm-hmm.
and I've mentioned to them, like, hey, would you like to join a clinical trial or are you interested in learning about one? They
Mm-hmm.
say no, but they usually come back to me once they find
Mm-hmm.
out that they've been on a treatment and it hasn't been working. And so when something is not working, that's when I usually see that people are coming back to say, like, oh, well, yeah, maybe I should try a trial. I don't want it to get to that place. Like, I
Yes.
people need to know and start that trial before it gets to the place where they're going through all these treatments and they're not working.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, if you're going through a treatment that's not working, you're like, you've already suffered. You already, now, not saying that you won't suffer a bit, if especially depending on the disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just want our communities to understand their options and see the value in this up
Mm-hmm.
front and
Yes.
to be able to make a decision, an informed decision up front
Mm-hmm.
about their care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I guess my question, have you ever asked that particular individual what stopped them from going through the clinical trial the initial time they learned about it?
Yeah. I think that we have a lot of faith in our doctors,
Mm-hmm.
the medication that is out on the market right now, the standard of care. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of faith in that. And a lot of times it's because, hey, we're thinking, okay, this specialist, they know what they're doing.
Yes.
However, this is a big one. A lot of these diseases have not been researched very well.
Mm-hmm.
And then not just not researched very well, but not researched in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So another huge reason why diverse research now exists is because when someone that looks like you has not been in this study for this drug that you're taking,
Mm-hmm.
how really do you know if it's going to work for you?
That's
You
true.
know, we always want to stay hopeful, of course, but how do you know? And there's been many drugs that have come to market that are less effective in Black and
Mm-hmm.
Brown people because they were not in the study.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, it's super scary
Yes.
to
Yes.
to
Yes.
think like, wait a minute, I have this disease and the drug that I'm taking was never tested on anyone that looks like me. And they're expecting this, they're just trying to see if this is going to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just when I think about the work that has to be done in our community around this,
Mm-hmm.
it's overwhelming. We talked about this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how overwhelming the work is.
Yes. And I don't think, and just going back to what you said about the specialists, we put a lot of trust in our providers and our physicians.
Yeah.
yes, we also have to work with the community to build that trust, but also I found, in my journey that also working with the community leaders and physicians and getting them on board can also mean tremendous efforts for getting the community and the other populations on board too. There's a lot of research naive physicians in my local area in Mississippi as a whole. And so just at the top, them not knowing, not having any knowledge can definitely have trickle down effects to their patients and the population that they serve. And so not only doing the work for the population and the people, but also doing the work with providers and, having them to listen and actually seeing the benefits that clinical research could bring and how it could supplement their practice or whatever their care is for their community. It's tremendous and can definitely help move that needle forward.
And not to see it as competition.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'm hearing that the doctors are seeing research as competition, or
Wow.
like they don't want the research study to take their patients, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, why are we doing this? Like, we're doing this to help people, right?
Right.
We hope that's the case. That's the case. And I know, I mean, maybe that's not the case all the time, but overall, I think everyone, we want to help people.
Yes.
That's why I
Yes.
do it. That's why you do it. And
Yes.
so you are so right. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about educating the community. We have to educate the doctors as well,
Yes.
because a lot of times that is a big barrier, because
Yes.
the
Yes.
doctors that are seeing the sick patients that need to possibly learn, not even get involved, but at least learn about this study.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there has to be some way that we can come in and educate the doctors about the research,
Mm-hmm.
since they're the ones who've seen the patients.
Right.
Even if they don't have time to share with the patient about the research, they can at
Right.
least say, like, hey, I think this patient would be a good patient for this research study. Like, maybe we should come in and talk. That's
Exactly.
something that Diverse Research Now could do. That's something that we do. We have safe space meetings where we can talk to the participant or potential participant about research and the possibility of that research. Again, bridging the gap, taking the patient from the doctor's office, sitting them down in that gap area to talk with them about the research, the possibilities, inform them, let them
Mm-hmm.
make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to go through that tunnel and go to the other side to research, then great.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
great. But we have to get them in that middle place. And I think that is so important. There definitely has to be more work in that space. And so we're definitely willing to do it. And I'm sure you are as well.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I enjoy going to talk to research clinics or even just regular healthcare community clinics. I love going to have lunch and learns and just really seeing, where community healthcare providers are when it comes to research, what their behaviors are when it comes to research, their feelings towards research. A lot of people are not interested in research, and I get that. But, like you were saying, that patient-centric approach,
Yes.
always putting the patient first,
Yep.
should be the motivation and the driver of getting into clinical research and getting your patients the health care that they deserve, actually. So I love just communicating and networking with other healthcare providers just to tell them about research. And if they haven't tried it or if they haven't heard about it, just to do a little bit of research on it and
Exactly.
then, see, the benefits that it can bring to their patient population.
Yeah. And we even have a model for that, because I do feel like looking into all of this is a lot. It can be overwhelming to
Mm-hmm.
look into like the research options. And then a lot of times you don't find anything. Then
Yeah.
what do you do? So that's why our model at Diverse Research Now, we really have built a model to really walk people through this whole journey. It is a journey. It can be a
Mm-hmm.
journey, because a lot of our participants that we help and we help to find research studies for, some of them don't find a study, but they're still interested.
Yes.
That is something that I think we have to recognize when we can engage the community, there's a community member that's actually saying, like, yeah, I'm interested. Find me a study. And then we can't find them a study, we don't just let them go. We don't just leave them by the wayside because look, it could be down the line where we can find them a study. That's another place where diverse research now comes in at where we continue the engagement,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if they're in a study or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There has
Mm-hmm.
to be continued engagement. So when
Yes.
that time does come, they're ready. They
Mm-hmm.
know all they need to know about research and they're ready. You know what I mean? So
Yes, yes. And I was just saying, like, even during that time of getting studies, they're still learning so much about the process
hmm,
of research. It's so many different integral parts and components to research and just learning from phase 0 all the way to phase 4. It's a
exactly.
lot. And so just taking people and walking them through that process and maybe just taking them slower or the time that it takes to get a study, they're still getting information over time. So that's still great to keep that engagement going because still they're learning and that's great.
I really think that that's key to
Yes,
making
exactly.
change in the field.
Yes,
I really think that's key. We continue to say we cannot come to the community at the time where you're recruiting for that study.
exactly.
Continue to engage with them and share with them what give back to them
Hmm.
before
Hmm.
that study even starts. And I continue to say that. We have a lot of community members that listens in on our podcast. Before we get out of here, tell me what
Yes.
would you want to share with the community? We have people listening all over. What do you want Black and Brown community to know about research? Like what do you share out there in the community when you're out there, when you're talking to people? What is your message that kind of hits home?
I would say the more we get involved in research, the more beneficial the methods and the treatments will be for us.
Mm,
I always lead with the myth behind research. I never sugarcoat that.
yeah.
I always put that first and foremost because I understand the historical context behind research when it comes to the diverse populations, the Black
Yeah.
and Brown populations. So I always lead with that.
Mhm.
But then I always take them through the process of where we've gone from that, where we advanced from that. And now we're at a point in history now where there are technological advances, there are methodological advances, there are medicinal advances now that could benefit us, but now we have to participate. Now we have to come from that to a more inclusive research time, and that's now. That's
Yep.
not going to be any time later. If we don't do the work now, it will never come. And so that's what I try to stress to the community around me that, in order to progress, in order to get things more tailored for our community, we're going to have to step up, be the voice, be the reason. So I always try to motivate those around me in my community to take part in getting what they want out of their healthy life. I know, we don't get enough resources in this area, so we have to take what we can get.
Mhm.
So we can take hold and we can take control of our health down the line if we continue to participate in these studies where, they can understand the disease and conditions for us. So that's my message to the community.
Yep. Yep. For us.
Yes.
And so, because we talked about not just speaking to the community, but speaking to
Mm-hmm.
the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I like
Mm-hmm.
to ask that question as well. What is your message to the other side, the researchers, pharma,
Yes.
us that's putting these protocols together? What is the message for them?
My message for pharma researchers of all sorts, let's just not do talking. Let's just do the work. Let's go into these areas that we say that are left out or that are forgotten about and let's include them. There's enough people trying to pick and choose who they want out of these areas, but there's really no one down in these areas doing the work.
Yeah,
So, as an independent site owner, I want to do more than just talk about the inclusivity of diverse populations. I want to include them.
yeah,
So, therefore, I'm going to go include them. And I would like the motivation for other researchers and pharmaceutical companies to actually include those sites in there, or try to get sites up and running out in those areas so we can get that patient data so we can improve the methods towards diverse populations. So the message would be just going out there, doing the work, building the infrastructure, helping these communities in the way that we say that we want to.
Yep. And partner with sites like yours.
Yes,
Because
yes, exactly.
your site is in a location.
Mm-hmm.
Location is huge.
Yes,
And sometimes you see that sponsors end up picking the same locations,
yes,
but they need to include other locations, especially locations where the diverse populations are.
yes,
Include your
yes.
site. So tell us again where your site is and kind of the percentage of Black and Brown people who are in your site, because those would be your participants.
Yes. So I don't have a physical location as of now, but I am operating out of Jackson, Mississippi. That is central Mississippi.
Okay.
Jackson has the highest population for Black African Americans in the state. So I am working within a diverse local population within my local area. But I also look to service other areas such as the Delta in Mississippi, where it has a lot of rural areas that has a lot of poverty. There is multiple diverse populations out there that is undergoing scarce healthcare access. And so I definitely want to bring my services out to those areas and work with those community services centers and the hospitals that may be out there that wants to provide clinical studies. I would really love to work with them and get clinical research in that area up and running and servicing those populations.
So it makes so much sense. What I see is you having a site in Jackson. You are
Mm-hmm.
find a location soon. Have a site in Jackson, but then you're able to go out to the rural areas,
Mm-hmm.
have events,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
partner with the local clinics there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and start up satellite sites and
Yes.
those areas.
Yes.
And it's a need
Yes.
because
It's a huge need.
it's
Yes.
a huge need in this location.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that makes so much sense to me. So I
Mm-hmm.
commend you, and
Thank you.
we are here to help. So as soon as we can, let's get on the schedule with a
Yes.
date so we can have an event. Start the work. We have to
Yes.
start somewhere. We might not have all the resources and everything in place, but it
Mm-hmm.
has to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And honestly, when I started diverse research now, I didn't have much before I started, but I just started. I just started
Yes.
getting the information out there. That's a great place to start, just to start getting the information out. So
Yes.
once you get your site up and going, once you're ready to recruit and have those, people are you got a whole list.
I got a whole, yes,
Have a
yes,
whole list of people
exactly.
that's ready to go to be involved in research. And
Yes, I'm already building those relationships. Yes, that's important.
in the location that needs it most,
Needs it. Mm-hmm.
the population that needs it most.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
super excited about this. I haven't been to Mississippi in a long time. My family is from Mississippi. The migration to
Uh-huh.
our family, my family was one that migrated to Chicago way back when.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
how I ended up in Chicago. But
And I got family in Chicago too.
okay, yeah. So, but I remember going back to Mississippi. I believe my great grandmother and my great grandfather was from Starkville, Mississippi.
Yes. Okay, yes, yes, Starkville.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And that's where we used to travel back to. We used to all
Mm-hmm.
my grandpa's, well, we call him Big Daddy, my Big Daddy station wagon
The station
and
wagon.
travel down to Mississippi. I
Yes.
don't know if I guess it was maybe in the summers or something.
Always in the summer.
Always in the summers, all the cousins would get in Big Daddy's station wagon.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Our big mom would have us some fried chicken wrapped up for the
Mhm.
stops to eat on the way.
Oh, not a car snack.
And we would drive down there, and that's a memory of mine of Mississippi.
Oh,
And
that is so beautiful.
later on as adults, I used to fellowship with a church
Mm-hmm.
in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably haven't been there in years, probably
Mm-hmm.
since I came to I used to come to church services down there.
Yes.
Other than that, I haven't been in Mississippi in a long time. My niece went to Jacksonville, Mississippi. She
Jackson, it's Jackson, Mississippi.
Not Jacksonville,
Yeah, yeah, that's in Florida.
Jackson State.
Ah, yes. Yes, yes.
So, but she actually didn't like it. She actually didn't like it. She ended up coming back to Chicago. So I don't know. But a mission of diverse research now, again, is to go where our community is and
Mm-hmm.
know that Black and Brown communities are in the South. Like we're
Yes.
in Mississippi, we're in Georgia, we're
Mm-hmm.
in Texas. Most of us in this country, the US, are down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big percentage of us. That's where we live.
That's where we are. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's where we're gonna have to go. That's
Yes.
I mean, I just so happen to be in California, but I'm very serious about getting the message out to my people and sharing this to my people. So I'm super excited about this connection and the possibilities, and we just gonna do it.
Yes. Yes. We're going to do the work
Yes.
and we're going to get it up and going in Mississippi. I'm very excited. I'm very passionate. I'm very motivated. I know this is something that my state needs. This is something that we deserve. We deserve to live a healthier lifestyle.
Yep.
You know, although there's not a lot of resources, we can build on our resources. We can create our own resources here. There's so much opportunity in Mississippi. A lot of people think there's not a lot going on, but for those who are passionate about the state, for those who want to see the state live a healthier lifestyle, I feel like the possibilities are endless. We just need the right people in the right places to do the good work that needs to be done.
Yep. Yep. So before we get out of here, we just want all the sponsors to know that's listening, all the pharmaceuticals researchers to know, like, hey, diverse research now and Covalent. Am I saying it right?
Covalent.
Covalent.
Yes.
Covalent
Yes.
Clinical Research.
Research.
We're coming together to do.
Yeah, the bond. Yeah.
We're coming together to do some work in Mississippi, Delta,
Yes.
Central Mississippi, and extending out to the Delta, a place that is this work is very much needed.
Yes.
So we ask you to come and support us and to
Please.
help us in this work.
Yes, we need it. We need you.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Crain. I really appreciate you. This is such a rich conversation, so needed. I'm so happy that we had this conversation. I'm excited to get this information out to the audience to let them know, like, hey, the time is now. The
time is now. Yes, yes. It's time to start talking and just let's do. I'm very proactive. So once I get an idea and I get a little support, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys expect to see us out there, and thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.